Well, who the heck are you then, my friend?
Well, I'm Tim Edworthy. I'm the minister of Park Road Baptist Church in Peterborough.
Tim, can I just say thank you ever so much for giving me lunch, letting me speak from one single telephone call. I'm just really blessed. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Mate, do you think there's a problem with Britain? Are we really broken Britain, and if so, why?
I think there are parts of Britain that are broken. I do feel myself that many parts of the church are alive and well and making a difference, but it's certainly true to say that the aspects of Britain that are broken, it seems to me that we have gone away as a nation from Christian values. We've gone away from the teaching that we find in the Bible. A combination of reasons for that probably, but that's how it is. And I'm keen to get people back to the Bible, to get out there and share what it says.
Is preaching dead?
No, I don't think so. I think preaching is still very important, always has been, always will be. We may have to think about the ways in which we preach. We can't assume that people just know the theological language that sometimes we use. We have to express ourselves in ways that the everyday person who may never have heard anything from the Bible can relate to.
So we've got to change our language set somewhat.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And according to context, I come here, I'm the pastor here, and Sunday by Sunday I preach the word, and many of the people, much of the time, I'm preaching to the converted, who have different expectations, perhaps, to those who rarely darken the doors of the church. And so there can be a tension in marrying those two together. But I do believe, what do things like, for example, what does grace mean to people out in the world? Well, it might mean a word that describes something they've heard said occasionally before the start of a meal, but they just don't know that grace is the love of God freely given. What does it mean to experience the love of God freely given? You then have to go on and explain a little bit more as well.
Do you think there's a need for the resurrection of Christian education? Almost like a revival of the Sunday school movement?
One of the reasons so many people don't know some of the basic stories of the Bible or have very woolly ideas of them is that less and less children are going to Sunday school today. What can we do about that? Well, there are so many other things to occupy their time that weren't there when Sunday schools were at their height. I think we keep plugging away. We find different ideas, different ways of bringing the Bible to children, different ways perhaps of getting into the schools where they will be between Monday and Friday.
Okay, so preaching's not dead then. You do something quite interesting in Peterborough. Mm-hmm. You've got a geezer called an evangelist.
Yep.
That a number of the churches put out on the streets there. What kind of interesting things does he do around cake? I remember you telling me one day.
Well, yes, I mentioned that. I mean, this is a guy called Chris Duffett, who is an evangelist with an organisation called the Light Project. As it happens, he's also going to be the president of the Baptist Union of Great Britain for 1 year from next May. And he comes to Peterborough one Sunday morning a month, does a project called Saints on the Streets. So about a year ago, we went out with Chris and we were doing a thing called Pastries and Prayer. We were offering free pastries to shoppers and to shop workers, anyone who was out there really. And alongside that, we were saying that this is a free gift from the church. And by the way, whilst we're here, is there anything that you would like us to pray for that's going on in your life? And it was very interesting. I mean, some said, well, my life's okay as it is, thank you. Don't need to pray. Others were really pleased that we offered to pray for them. Another example, something that we did on Father's Day back in June, we hired one of those rodeo rides, and we were offering it was outside the town hall in Peterborough. We were offering it as a free gift, especially to fathers, to dads for Father's Day. And people were amazed, really, that the church was offering this as something free, and it opened up loads of good conversations with people about why we were doing it.
That's just mental, I love it.
Absolutely mental.
Absolutely
and I fell off, incidentally, after about 9 seconds the first time. I was terrible at it.
So the church, for it to be more relevant, does it need to go into fairground rides? How can we be a little bit more relevant? That's interesting, isn't it?
I don't think we should go after every fad. I'm not sure that rodeo church is likely to catch on in this country. But I do think that we have to take Christ out onto the streets. And on a Sunday morning when my church comes here, I mean, most of the city, or a lot of the city, is out in the centre of Peterborough doing their shopping, worshipping at that other temple, if you like, the shopping centre down the road. And so we have to find ways of going to them, such as Saints on the Streets, which I think is a really brilliant idea, and gets the idea out there that church is for them, as well as for the people who come inside the four walls of our buildings.
Pastor Tim, thank you so much for your hospitality, and God richly bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.